Hey everybody, welcome back live at Drew's House, Joppa Afternoon Drive. Hope you're all doing well out there. September has arrived. I can't believe I'm saying that. I think I'm going to say that maybe for the first 6 shows of September, but summer's winding down. And it kind of makes me sad, although I love the fall. What does definitely make me sad is our guest here today. His name is John Moynihan. You probably know him because he's been on this show a million times. He's probably, we've been doing a monthly thing here for a while. I think he may be our most appearance guest on the show the most. And, you probably know by now if you live in this community, but John Moynihan is leaving his role as executive director of the Firehouse Center for the Arts. John, I'm sad by it. I know you have another opportunity, and you're going to it, and you're happy, and it's bittersweet and all those things. Why don't I shut up and you just take it from there?
Well, I mean, that alone is a legacy to leave behind, to be the most appearances on the afternoon drive.
That's true.
With Drew Moholland.
Yeah. Although my show's not ending, so you know.
I know. You still got that going. I mean, I remember we did the live at Drew's house. We've been through all the different sort of instances of this over the past 7.5 years. But my last day was on August 30th.
Yep.
So. Yeah,
deep breath. Yeah.
I know.
It's weird to say still, isn't it?
It is. It is very. It's strange. It's strange, for something that has been so part of my life for almost 8 years.
You were nice enough to text me before, because it would have been too jarring for me to get the blast email that everybody else got. But
I want to make sure that the important people in the community knew, and the people that were important to me, and that made a real impact on what we were able to do at the Firehouse during my time here. And you are definitely within that group.
Well, sweet of you to say. I know you're not worried about the place itself because it still runs.
Absolutely.
You leave behind a lot of great workers and a lot of great people there. But you did so much there over these years. So what do you think you're most proud about?
Oh boy, what a great question. There's a lot. There really is a lot to be proud about in terms of the quality of the programming that we were able to bring in, the breadth of the programming that we were able to bring in, just the amount of it, week after week. But honestly, I think one of the things that I really am most proud of is the summer outdoor shows that we did during COVID. Yeah. Where many theaters did virtual. We did some of that. But with my experience doing outdoor shows up in Portsmouth prior to coming down here, and somebody had posted on Facebook, they have drive-in movie theaters, why can't they do drive-in theater? I was like, why not?
Yeah.
Why not give that a shot? So being able to partner with Spencer Pierce Little Farm, that's how I first met Bethany Groff-Durow over there, to make that happen in the summer of 2020, and then to continue that. And then coming out of COVID, and still being able to really being able to hammer in some of the bigger names that we've been trying to get, Eric Hutchinson, Rayland Baxter, in mid-August, this past August, and then Judy Collins and Madeline Peru, just names that wouldn't be coming to Newburyport to a less than 200 seat theater.
Yeah.
So I'm just really proud of what we were able to do as a team, and just really as of the resiliency of the organization and of the community.
I remember you telling me when you landed Judy Collins, and that actually happened. That was kind of like a dream for you. That was fine. Yes, I've been working for that for so long. I didn't know that was going to be when you took off, John, and moved.
No. She was here a year ago, so it's not like.
I'm kidding. But do you want to talk about your next move, or are you not doing that yet? Or
sure. No, I'm happy to. So I'm. One, it's closer to home. So I've lived in New Hampshire the entire time I've been coming down here, and I live about 45 minutes away, which is fine. Everybody commutes, everybody does that. That's not the it's not the end of the world.
Yep.
But my kids have gotten older. My oldest when I started here was 5, and he just turned 13.
Yeah.
My youngest wasn't even born yet.
Yeah.
So a lot of this is this is all that they knew of me, of working in the arts and not being around at nights and not really being around on weekends.
Yeah.
And as they've gotten older, they've been more vocal about the fact, oh, you're not going to be home again tonight? Oh, that stinks. Oh. And so that started to really play a big part in any sort of decision that I was looking to make. And then I know I've always wanted to do everything that I can to make things more accessible.
Yep.
To be able to reduce barriers for folks that are dealing with any sort of financial hardships or challenges along those lines. That's why we started doing programs like the Pay What You Can ticket program. We did that for a portion this year. We've also done our Veterans Impact Ticket program. We've done the Families in Need, or the Helping Hands initiative that we've had throughout the years. But even more so post-COVID, when there was such a light shown on that community that historically is what's the word I'm looking for? It's they're viewed as as less than or lazy, as opposed to it being a real real hardship. Stigma is the word I was looking for. It came. They're being stigmatized. So
I didn't want to help you out and give you the wrong word.
That's okay.
No, Drew,
That's
shut
okay.
up. It's my thing here.
So an opportunity in Dover, New Hampshire, which is right next to where I live, at what's called a community action program, or a community action agencies, community action partnership of Stratford County opened up to be the chief advancement officer and to help raise money to fight homelessness, to work with early childhood education, to help people pay their rent, pay their utility bills, get their houses weatherized, things like that. So it's very much a deviation from what I have been doing, but it's also something that's been a real deep passion of mine for many years.
Well, completely admirable. That's a great spot. It is a deviation. It's funny, we were joking with Maeve Power, our great producer here. We're kind of talking about this being like the goodbye show to John, because he'll be out of the job next time we do a show. And it's funny. I said, well, we can still have him on. It's not, he's not quite in the role of, in the Newburyport thing, but he doesn't have to be a stranger. So we're joking about it being a goodbye thing. But it is a good, I know there's you do spend a lot of nights there. It is true. I don't think a lot of people realize that and how that can, affect family life and everything. Like I see you there when I go to a show,
right.
Once every, few weeks, or once a month, or once every couple months, whatever it may be. There's John, but I'm going to that show for this, and then I'm not doing that the next night. A lot of times you are doing that the next night, and that can be hard.
It can be, and it definitely post-COVID, I've tried to step back, because again we have a strong team that's able to do many of the things that I especially from like a top of show thing. For the first couple of years, I wanted to be there as often as I could, so people would know me.
Yes,
they would see my face. I think at this point people have seen my face, they know me, and are probably sick of it.
Yes, I mean
and so I was I was able to be I used to go, like when we would do a run of a musical show.
Yep.
I would be there for every single show.
Yeah.
So if we're doing 12 shows over 3 weekends, I'm there Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
And doing things, and it just I love it. I loved it. I love doing it. I love being able to have that role within the community. But there's the fact that I have a 13-year-old is mind-blowing. The fact that that's happened that quickly is mind-blowing.
This is like a few shows in a row now that parents have talked about how quickly those years go by for me. I'm just catching that it just hit me that that's a few in a row now. So I don't know. I guess take note, young parents.
Right. Well, and everyone says it. Like everyone says, like your parents say it when you're growing up. They're like, hold on to this. You'll miss it when it's gone. It's like, will I?
Yeah.
Like, will I? But then you do.
Yeah.
You miss when I have this joke story. I may have told this story on the show before, or at least I think I've told it to you. If otherwise, my youngest used to have problems saying the beginnings of his words.
Okay. Yeah.
So for like shoes, he would say ooze.
Yep.
And like we would say, oh, those, and he's like, no, not those, or something like that. Like we would try to do it. And so one of my favorite stories with him is my parents have a camp up in Maine that we go to, and my sisters will sometimes take like one of my kids up if we can't go. The other day they're going to go, and so he comes up. So to put a little more color around the story, I have 3 sisters. So all women all the time.
Yes.
Which is great. I love my sisters, and they're the best.
Well played.
Yeah. But when we went up to pick them up and to spend the day there, we said, "Oh, Ellery, what was your favorite part of being up at camp?" He goes, "The women." But he didn't mean the women. He meant swimming. Because he didn't say the beginnings of his words. So he said that, everyone was like, "What?" I said, no. He means the swimming. They're like, "Oh, it all makes sense." And it's just like one of those, one of those family stories. But now, like now that he's been in school, he like says the beginnings of his words now, which is great.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things like, oh, like we're not getting that back.
Yeah.
Those are memories that we're gonna have.
Yeah.
And now 2 years later he's in first grade and he speaks very well. So, yeah.
Wow. So when's the wedding? No, I'm just kidding.
Drew, already married.
Yeah, his wedding. Not yours.
I know.
See the jokes there?
That's what we do. We just play off each other. Good banter.
It is good banter. That's why we do it once a month for your pleasure.
That's right.
I don't know. Is it? I mean, it's such a. The firehouse is like literally right there in the heart of the community.
Yeah.
I imagine, I don't know what the new setup is, but there's a little, probably, there's a buzz here in the center of this community that like there's a bit of a heartbeat there, and you feel it when you're walking around.
Oh yeah.
I was just down there today before the show, and it's just like a fun, it's a happening place. Are you going to miss that aspect of it?
Yeah, I mean, definitely knowing that you are the focal points of a community is really nice, and it's and knowing just the the impact that you bring to the community is great. But I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a different thing. Like, there's not going to be 200 people coming in being like, "Wow, that was really great tonight. I really enjoyed that." But I think for me, what I always enjoy, like even on the late nights, even on the weekends, what I always was so appreciative of was seeing the post show smiles, or the post show sort of thing with how a person really enjoyed themselves.
Sure.
And that was the impact that meant the most to me, is knowing that I made a difference in that moment. I made a difference in that person's life and made them feel something.
Yes.
So that feeling's not going to go away.
That's the arts right there, right?
Right. But that feeling's not going to go away. Like, I'm still going to be able to go home, at the end of the day, knowing that I did something good for somebody else. Yeah. And that's always been a driving force behind anything. Yeah. That I've tried to do.
Yeah, rewarding jobs, needless to say.
Yeah. My dad would always say, find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Sure. That's a good one. I've heard that one, and I think that's a really good one.
Yeah.
How many years ended up being 7 or 8? You said? What was it?
Yeah, 7.5. 7 years and like 7 months or almost 8 months when you really. Bring it down.
So the under 8s have it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, whoever had the pool there, like, how long will he last?
Do you have?
Sorry for all you under 1 years.
When you started, because I mean, I know I've started things before and been like, maybe do a couple years of this, and then I'm not sure. Do you remember what you were thinking when you started the job? Was it that, or was it maybe I will be here for their 20 years? What were you thinking?
I wanted to be there until I felt that I had done all I could do, and I had made the impact that I wanted to.
Good answer.
Yeah, because I mean, I think especially in the arts, most people don't stay there for more than a few years, because there's always new opportunities. There's always new places looking for jobs.
It was Oasis, wasn't it? Oasis got back together, and you said I need to.
Yeah.
I need to change.
Yeah, because as I don't want to look back in anger.
Yeah.
So
I'm leaving the arts. This is what
That's right. Listen, they always said to be a cold day in hell when Oasis got back together, so everything's crazy now. So
I've been joking. Like the headlines on those guys are like, "Yeah, the mended fences. Everything's good, great." I'm like, I don't know. Like
right.
they might be dealing with each other.
Right, but they were never. I mean, there was 15 years of one of
Yes.
them doing something to the other.
Yeah.
But
I think they'll deal with each other.
yeah,
But,
exactly. And you know why, right? Money.
I do think that might have something to do with it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's the because this year is the 20th anniversary of their first album, and then next year is the 20th anniversary of the what's the story, Morning Glory
Yes.
album, the one that really propelled them.
Yeah.
So
We'll have two celebrations.
that's right. So
Yeah.
they can do a 20th anniversary of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that album is it's so good.
I've been talking about that. People don't it was right in my wheelhouse as far as the age range, and I know you were right there too. And like I remember, I was in high school when I saw their last show at Massachusetts in Mansfield, the Tweeter Center.
Oh yes.
Remember when it was that?
Yep.
The old Greatwoods, for those of you who.
Yep. Now the Xfinity Center.
Yes, indeed. And I remember.
Tweeter is no more.
Tweeters no more. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yep. But I remember that show, and I remember thinking to myself, like the demand for that show, and I was young too. I remember this. The demand for that show was I felt like everybody in my circle wanted to be there.
Yeah.
Like they probably would have went on and played Gillette Stadium and you know, done all that stuff. Like they were monsters. I don't think people realize how big they were. Some of the kids that I'm working with now, like I don't know. It'd be interesting to ask Maeve this. Like they probably like they say Wonderwall.
Yeah.
And that's it, right?
Oh, I know. I mean, come on.
No.
Yeah. There's so much more besides Wonderwall. Like I said, don't look back in anger.
Live Forever.
Champagne Supernova.
And that one was on the radio
I know.
I don't even know what. Don't Look Back in Anger was on the radio a lot too.
That's a great song.
That's my favorite of theirs.
Yeah. I liken Champagne Supernova to Fastballs like Out of My Head. There's a single verse, and then they just do the champagne like the chorus, you know, over and over again.
Someday you will find me underneath the landslide. It sounds eerily like our, what did we do? Goo Goo Dolls one day? I think we sang Goo.
I'm sure we have.
I think we've done every 90s artist at this point.
Pretty much everyone at this point, yeah.
It's one of the parts of our show that I think the people love.
That's right. 90s, you know, 90s nostalgia.
I simply wrote, actually, we'll talk about this in a second too, but I saw the party that they had for you. I'm calling it a party.
Yes.
I think it was maybe it was more formal than that.
No, the John Voyage.
The John Voyage. Did somebody say that? That's great.
Oh yeah, that's what we ended up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because I mean it was right there. They were calling it a Bon Voyage, so. Come on.
For John.
Like
It's a John Voyage.
Wordplay.
Yeah, so the other night they have a little going away party. Not a little going away party. It was a big going away party.
That's what we do.
And I'm looking at the pictures of this. What did you have? 75 speakers up there that were showing you love? I couldn't believe all the pictures. I was like, they talk too. The mayor shows up. He's talking. Everybody's
Senator Tarr
talking.
was there. Representative Shand was there. I was very flattered that they took the time out of their busy days.
Knowing you must have been at some point like, all right, enough.
I mean, yeah, I just kind of. I am very appreciative of everything that that people have said and what they have mentioned. At that event, I said. I said the same thing that I've always fully believed is that a nonprofit organization and a nonprofit arts organization it's never about one person. Leadership comes and goes, but
it's about three people.
Yeah. But leadership comes and goes, and it's how the community responds and it's how the community supports, and how I'm lucky. Like I said, I was able to build a strong team that will keep all that we've accomplished going. They'll have an opportunity when they, as the board is hiring, the new executive director. There's going to be changes that happen within there, and that's good, and that's okay.
Do you think they'll ask you about what should we be looking for? Or what do you think? Stay away from? Will you get any of those questions?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that. We've talked about that a little bit, and like I helped with the with the job description to make sure that it's somebody that's going to fit with the current makeup of the of the team, because I think that's somebody that's going to be able to come in and make their own impact and leave their own legacy. Like I inherited an organization that was that did things this way. The board was looking for something different in terms of how they did it. But I never went into it saying I'm gonna change everything that has been done in the past and do it my way because I know best.
Yeah.
It's really about taking what's there and building on it. And I think that's where we were most successful. That we were able to build on the great theatrical programs that were already there and do it differently.
Yeah.
And do it in a way that there was more diversity on stage. And then being able to bring in music and do it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I think that's one of the best things is that when a leader recognizes that it's time to go, is that they also recognize, and admittedly it's challenging for anybody when you do this, recognizing that it's no longer yours to shape.
Yeah.
Yep. And I've been the first couple of weeks I was like, no, I'm still here. So with basketball, I'm like, but I need to be able to, needed to be able to give the team that ownership.
Yes.
Because I'm not there.
Yeah.
And they need to be able to do all the things.
Are you still helping them out right now, or did you come down just for this show?
Always for you, Drew.
Just for me?
Always for you.
Oh, wow.
But
you came down from New Hampshire. No kidding. Wow, this is very serious. Wow. Well, I'm blushing. John Moynihan joining us, leaving the firehouse, one of the heartbeats of the city here of Newburyport for so many years. And you're right, when I think about all the music you added too, because that was kind of something that happened as I started making this show, a music show.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of overlap, and we'd have guests on, they were coming to play your place. They'd stop in here first, and some days you would text me and say, "Who is that? Get me them."
Yep, exactly.
And we've had some people that had never heard of the Firehouse on this show end up playing that place. Some new people, and then we reconnected with old friends. I remember you saw Will Daly on the show one year, and you said, "Oh, he was here years ago.
Yeah,
we got to get him back," and we made it happen.
We did indeed.
I mean, you made it happen, but
no, it was a group effort.
Oh, thank you.
Group effort.
Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
But but I think about all those: Will Daly, Ryan Montbleu, Jay Pissarros, Haley Reardon,
with Steve Dennis.
Steve Dennis, yeah, there's a lot of friends of the show.
Butcher Baglio and Estes.
Yes, another good one.
Good friends,
right? Yeah, it's a good lot of good overlap there. So, and I think people enjoyed having music in that theater again too.
I think so, because I mean, one of the things that I thought when I first began back in 2017 was there was so much potential. And there's so much opportunity to be able to do more within that, within that space. I always wanted there to be, at least something or one thing happening pretty much every weekend throughout the year, and we accomplished that. We accomplished it pre-COVID. We got back to it post-COVID, and I think that's really important, because people need to know that they don't need to go to Boston. They don't need to go, even though Beverly's 20 minutes away. They don't need to go there to get that same type of entertainment. They can get it right in their hometown. And I think that's such an important thing for people to remember.
You talk, the COVID's obviously come up because it was right in the middle of your tenure, and it's interesting to think about that, because I've heard it's not why you're leaving, but I have heard people refer to COVID as how it just those 3 years, however, whatever, two serious years of lockdown, not quite that, but the serious lockdown. But COVID was a big part of our lives for a good 2 years, 3 years, and I've heard a lot of people refer to those years as just, it felt like 6 in some way, and it was just a lot of people did change whether they had time to think about it during that time period or just coming out of it, they just wanted something different. But with that being in the background, like, it just changed perspectives for a lot of people.
Yep.
Do you think that happened with you at all? Like, did you remember thinking about this as maybe you're working from home a little bit more during COVID and seeing your kids maybe having some of those moments growing up and having that moment like, maybe I don't want to do this for 15 years.
Yeah,
like,
no, I mean, absolutely. Yeah. So like my daughter started kindergarten. During COVID.
Yeah.
And so there was like the school district started going to school, but then on Halloween of 2020, was it? Must have been just 2020. Yeah, Halloween of 2020. They said nope. We were going to shut down between Christmas and MLK Day, but nope, we're going to shut down starting now because there's too many, there's too many cases.
Yeah.
So, and my wife's a teacher, in her school district, she was at school every day, every day. So I had to be home. I had to be there. I had to be there with the kids and a kindergartner who couldn't read.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of hand holding that needed to happen.
I remember doing virtual shows with you, and you were in like that little white closet room.
Yeah, I was up in my son's room with the map on in the back there.
Yeah.
But then seeing the impact that like as we got further into the year and she was able to read a little bit more, and to seeing the impact like the kindergarten teacher had on her, the work that she was doing, and the work that my wife was doing, and just at the end of every year, when my wife gets the little notes from like her students being like, "Thank you so much, like you made like such an impact on me. Like I don't know what I would have done without you." Things like that. Just all of that. Sort of, I wouldn't necessarily it was like a total shift of mindset, but it was just a reminder of the things that are important, and knowing the impact that you are making, and knowing at the end of the day that it's that what you're doing is meaningful, is something that has that's important. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that I was looking specifically for something outside of the arts, but as I'm sure many people have told you, the arts has changed drastically and dramatically. Yeah. Post-COVID, just in terms of the cost of doing it, all the different things that go into it. I was talking to my good friend, our good friend, shared friend, Karen S. and Benny, just the other day about it, and she was sharing just it's insane. Even in incredibly successful organizations, it's just we have to change so much of what we were doing just to try and find a way to make ends meet, which is why you've always heard me talk about how community support and community support of especially of a nonprofit arts organization is so important, because without all of that, it can't be at the same level.
Yeah, you couldn't do it in every community. There's no doubt about that, right? This is it's a special place. I'll let you end with one of those thoughts in a second, but I do need to ask real quickly.
Yeah.
Who took the picture at the lights down?
Oh yeah.
Behind you. That's an epic. I've never seen that photo of you.
So that was taken during COVID. So
okay.
That was one of our outdoor shows.
Oh, it was.
Yep.
I actually thought it was in the theater. So
okay. That was one of our outdoor shows, and it was taken by Tim Gerzak, who does almost all of our photos. He caught that moment.
It's just a silhouette? Is that what you call it of John?
Yeah.
It's a fantastic,
I was giving
very nice goodbye photo.
I was giving a curtain speech. I was doing my curtain speech
to open the show. Who was going to do that? I loved that thing. I used to marvel at you. Remember, I'd done a few introductions for shows at the Firehouse, and John would do his thing up there. No microphone, which I remember mentioning the first time. I said, "Damn you, theater people!"
Yeah, right.
I'll shout like John now.
Yes.
But he does it, in the theater voice. He's got it memorized perfectly, and he just nails it every show.
Yeah.
I never saw you screw it up. Maybe, and if you did, you carried on like a pro, and you didn't mess. But who's going to do that now?
Justin.
Have you
will-
trained? You've trained
Yeah,
Justin?
I mean,
Okay.
Justin knows how to do it. Justin knows the.
Justin, what's
He
Justin's
knows
last
the
name?
ropes. Knowlton.
Knowlton,
Yeah, he's
okay.
our associate artistic director. He'll take on some of that. Also, I think Kristen Dalton, who's our new director of operations and administration. I think she'll take on some of that as well. I mean,
Okay.
We have some good theatrical people that enjoy that aspect of it.
Look at you, still doing the we thing. It's gonna take some time. It's. I know it's a party. It'll always be a part of you. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not like you never ditch these kind of jobs, And I'm sure you'll come back and be excited to see shoys there when you.
I know. I was joking with them, saying, as long as there are shows that interest me, I might come back.
You know, who'd be great is that John Mayer. It's. What were we joking about that one show? One of our early shows. We're like, you can just do it. You can just do a solo acoustic thing. That's fine.
Oh yeah, John, come on.
Yeah.
Listen, we'll charge $10,000 a ticket, and it'll be great. It'll be great.
Springsteen solo is fine. Just come on in, and
exactly.
it'll be great.
I know. I just found out the other day, Springsteen's 74 or 72, something like that.
I think he's a fall birthday. Is he September? I think he just had a birthday. It's 73, I think.
Okay. And he was saying people are asking when he's going to retire. He's like, I won't retire until I die on stage, or like something like that.
Well, it's funny. I wonder if he was getting annoyed because it does seem like so many of those bands are like just everybody's done this since the beginning of time. But the farewell tour,
Right.
the Eagles farewell tour, which was 25 years ago,
Right.
And it's like I read an article today about how like Deep Purple.
Oh, that's right.
That's why I connected. We were talking about this off the air. They're playing New Hampshire tonight.
Yeah.
And like 2 years ago they did a tour and they called it their farewell tour.
Right.
And like it was a complete joke within the band. There was
Right.
no intentions of ever stopping.
Right.
Which seems very disingenuous, but also kind of funny. Whatever.
Right.
It's music.
They said that like their manager was like, say it's a farewell tour and help sell more tickets or something like that. Right, which is why they said I forget exactly what they named it, but it was something where it was vague enough where they're like, that's what it was. It's like it's the long goodbye. The long goodbye was the name. Was the name of the tour. So
See, I could easily see Bruce being like seeing all that stuff and be like, no. By the way, don't be expecting any of this.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He said the story you're talking about. He does it in this. I think it was in Pennsylvania. Does it in that Jersey accent. He goes, no farewell tour for this band.
That's right.
We're no do farewell tours here.
That's right.
We've been around for 5 decades.
Right.
No farewell tour, which I kind of like too.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Whatever.
Absolutely.
Bands can do whatever they want.
Exactly, and the boss can do whatever the boss wants.
That sure as hell is true. All right, John Moynihan, we can talk more about this, but I think we're gonna still have you on. You're gonna come visit, right?
Sure, whenever you want.
I like maybe not the monthly thing because that seems like it might be a little intrusive for the whole family life you're trying to get around and the new job. Maybe they wouldn't love that, but he'll be back on. We'll catch up with John. Don't worry about that in the months and years ahead. As long as I still have a show.
Hey-o.
I shouldn't say those things. Sarah,
We
anything
love
you need.
Sarah.
We did start around the same time. But thank you for all that you've done for this show, all the appearances and all the overlap with musicians. I think it was pretty cool having that good working relationship over there with the Firehouse. It was something that I don't know. I know we didn't plan it. It just kind of happened. I just
We just knew we bonded over our love of Dave. And
started with little Dave Matthews.
There was no going back.
Started with a little Dave Matthews, but I just genuinely enjoyed having you on the show. We always had good conversations, and we always said they flew by, and we could either talk without a microphone or with it. Might as well do a show, right?
That's right.
And I think for the end of this particular show, why don't I just let you take the final minute and say a little thank you to I'm sure you've done it in several forums, but as far as this one goes, you can say a little thank you to the Newburyport community and whatever else you'd like to do.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So, I mean, I'm just so incredibly grateful for the 7.5 years that I was gifted to be the executive director of the Firehouse Center for the Arts. The community embraced so much of what we were trying to do. They came out, they understood what we were looking to accomplish, and the Firehouse wouldn't be where it was and where it is today without that community support. So all I can say is that please continue to support. Go see shows you may not know that you've heard of, you may not have heard of before, because the quality is going to be there, and that whatever's going to happen, you'll end up even if it's not your cup of tea, you'll end up at least knowing that it was a good show. So continue to support the Firehouse, firehouse.org. You can donate. Always feel free to do that. But Drew, I would be remiss if I didn't end with a nice little quote. there are so many relationships in life. Only one or two will last. I'm very grateful for your friendship, and I consider you a friend above anything else. So thank you for that.
Thank you, John. John Moynihan, everybody. What a run at the firehouse. We'll leave it at that. What a nice way to end the show. John Moynihan, thank you for all the work, and thanks for tuning into this show, everybody. We appreciate it. Live at Drew's house, Joppa Afternoon Drive.
Thank you.